Parashat Korach. This shiur is dedicated to Refuah Shlema of Shachaf Bat Lilach and Rafael ben Taivel. Parashat Korach deals mostly with the effort of Korach, which was one of the most important, wisest, knowledgeable, and wealthy people in Am Yisrael. The efforts of him and his gang to really unstable the leadership and to challenge the leadership of Moshe and Aaron in an effort to receive it to themselves. And the parasha starts with the words Vayikach Korach, and Korach took. However, it does not say why he took. What did Korach take? Where did he take it? For what reason he took what he took? And Chazal tells us that Korach took a bad advice. Lakach etzah ra'ah. In other words, somebody gave him an advice that was bad to teach us that it does not make a difference how smart you are, how brilliant you are. Each one of us has at least one common point that is our weak point and what we call our ego. The Zohar explains that Aaron was considered to be, according to the Zohar, a chariot for the sfera of chesed, for the attribute, of chesed and kindness, which is what we call the koach of the right side, the right line. And that right line is the power, the ability of giving, of netinah, of constant giving, of compassion, of love, of endless influence of goodness, all the time. And Korach, that was from Shevet Levi, represents the sfera of Gvura, the attribute of Gvura, which is might, which is the power of the left line, or the left side, that really represents our initial need to always receive and to receive to ourselves. In each and every one of us, those two sides exist. Korach, what Korach really wanted to do was really to put left in front of the right. In other words, he wanted to make the left side more dominant than the right side. Okay? It's very possible that he might have been somewhere along the line right. And that goes, of course, to the machloket, the ancient machloket between Cain and Hevel. And Cain was also for the same attribute, and he wanted basically to bring the world to the way it was before, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world with midat hadin, with the measurement of judgment. But then he saw that the world could not exist, and free choice cannot exist with midat hadin. Therefore, he introduced midat harachamim, a chesed, together with it, but they both, Cain and Korach, didn't want to do it. Now, it seems that the reason why he wanted to do so, since he said HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants it to do good with the people, so let's bring midat hadin ahead of it, and that's going to be good for everybody, right? But if we are lacking that ability to, for example, to receive this good, right? How are we going to actually enjoy the good and basically come to fulfill the whole idea behind creation, which is God giving us? So of course, how are we going to do it? However, as soon as we think to receive to ourselves, only to ourselves, we are in a change of format, with a change of shape. What does it mean? We are in a level of separation. It's called in Kabbalah pirud, separation. separation from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and from the essence of life, the power of life that is really to give and to make good. So it seems like somewhat of a paradox, but it's not. How do we solve this catch-22? It's very simple. The Torah gave us the key. How do we incorporate both Midat Hadin and Midat HaChesed and Rachamim together and creating a balance in the world? Midat Hadin, Midat HaRachamim. We need to create this balance. How do we do that? Very, very simple. Anybody has an idea? No idea? Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You should love your fellow human being as much as you love yourself. So loving myself is the gvura. Loving the other person is the midat chesed. Together, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, we're creating a balance here. That's why we need to have right and left. We can't have everybody liberal or everybody Republican. We need to have both in order to create a center. However, Onkelos, in his translation of the parasha, says, Va'it palag. Va'it palag, in other words, he was divided from the rest of the people. Korach was willing to break himself out of the tzibur, of the klal, to break himself out of the whole congregation, in order to hold on to this machloket, in order to hold on to this argument. He wanted this argument to exist. He wanted that division to exist. And that's why we says, Leolam lo tiyeh poresh min hatzibur. Never break away. The tzibur is davening, is praying. You should not go out. There is a keilah, a community that is a healthy community, and they all, let's say, daven in your own nusach. Don't go and make a breakaway minyan. If there is a problem, sit down and try to solve it. Don't make a breakaway minyan. If you break away minyan, what do? Machloket. Disagreement. And when there is a disagreement in the community cannot grow, the community cannot function, and guess what? It all falls apart. Of course, if you want to become the rabbi, you want to become the boss, well, therefore you don't care about this. You're actually going to come and says, no, it's l'shem shamayim, it's for the sake of heaven. I'm doing it for the right reason. And you're not doing it for the right reason. And you're going to keep on, and that's how it's all started. Another important aspect in this story of this disagreement with Korach is that the community in which a person plants himself in really influence in the course of your life more than what you think, and more than what you're willing to wear. Bala Sulam in his writing writes that maybe this is one of the only times that you can actually choose things, and probably it's the most important choice that you can make in your life, in which community you're going to live in. And that is a very important thing for us to know. Which community you're going to make your decision to live? Probably, maybe the single out most important decision you're going to make in your life. The Rishonim, those who came to the Machloket of Korach, the first one to jump in, were who? There's a Machloket. Hey, Korach, buddy, write us in. Who is that? Datan ve'Aviran. Datan ve'Aviran. And together with them, the members of the tribe of Reuven, right? And why is that? Rashi says, Ve'Datan ve'Aviram, Datan ve'Aviran, why? Bishvul shaya shevet Reuven sharui bechanitam taimana. When they stopped, there was Shevet Reuven was in the south. Shachen lekahat ulevana v'chonim taimana. Kahat and his clan were in the south of the encampment of Shevet Levi. They were in proximity to Shevet Reuven, and they joined together the Machloket. And for that, Chazal says, Oy lerasha, oy leshcheno. Right? The wicked man gets whacked. However, his neighbor gets whacked as well. That proximity between Korach and Datan ve'Aviram was a crucial component in them joining the machloket and together with them, carrying everybody else together with them. Another important component in choosing your community, who is going to be around you, of course, is your wife. Shlomo HaMelech says, "Chochmat nashim banta beita, ve'ivelet beyadea taharsunu." What does it mean? The wisdom of women would actually build the house. However, ivelet, their stupidity or nonsense, would in your hands would destroy you. What does it mean? Either she's smart or she's stupid. What does that mean? What does it mean? So it means the following. It says in the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Yud Amud Aleph. It says, "Chochmat nashim banta beita." Who is that? Right? Who is a wise woman? Zo ishto shel On ben Pelet. And we'll see exactly what happened with On ben Pelet. Ve'ivelet beyada teharsena. That stupidity, that stupid mindset destroyed the house. Who was that? Ishto shel Korach. Korach's wife. And why is that? The Medrash tells us that the wife of Korach is the one who decided to stir the pot. And she started complaining about Moshe Rabbeinu. It started all with Lashon Hara. It started all with Lashon Hara. She was making fun of Korach. Korach, what are you, silly? What are you, stupid? What are you going with this? No, leave Moshe Rabbeinu. Leave, right? You know people who do this all the time. What are you going over there? Leave it. The guys, and so Lashon Hara, Rabotai. Right? You believe everything that what Moshe made. So what did she do? She made a whole talit with old chelet, and it says, "No, go ask Moshe. Does he need a ptil chelet or doesn't need a ptil chelet? Now kula shel chelet, right?" In other words, she's the one who brought the destruction to her husband, their household, and everybody else because of her lashon hara. She started it. However, on the other hand, you have the wife of On ben Pelet, and she says to him, "Why do you need this machloket, honey? My darling, why do you need this?" She gave him a little bit of wine. She gave him some good food. She says, "Tatale, go to sleep. Sleep a little bit." And when the people, the gang, came to collect them to join them, right, to make the Ktoret and this whole entire thing, she was sitting at the opening of the tent, and she was combing her hair. I guess she didn't comb her hair, but she did not let them in. She did not let them in, and the people went to their way. And with her wisdom, she basically saved her husband, saved their household, and saved herself. As they say, Rabotai, right? What they say in Israel all the time, Isha Bona, Isha Oreset. A wife could build you, or a wife could destroy you. Well, you make sure you pick a wife that has good ashkafa, has a good outlook in life, not necessarily good body measurements. You need to measure the size of her soul. How her mindset is, what her values, what her core values. Not how she's pretty, she's not pretty. That's a recipe for disaster. As much as a woman can build and destroy, so is your neighbors could build and destroy. One of the most foundations also in Avodat Hashem is what? Ivdu et Hashem besimcha. In other words, Rabotai, if you are, as they say, need to keep up with the Jones, right? You have a problem. Maybe you should go to looking back taxes, Because what are you going to be doing, all your life? Keeping up. Oh, they got a new Audi. Let me get a Mercedes. They put an extension to the house. Let me put a swimming pool. This is not life. That's terrible. So your community could also build you or destroy you. Now, if do it Hashem besimcha, Korach ben Yitzhar that was his name. Yitzhar shows on wisdom, right? He was a smart man. Korach was a smart man. Korach took 250 men from the tribe of Reuven. Nesiei ha'edah kirei moed anshe Shem, the pasuk calls them. They were great men of great stature, very important people. That's basically what the pasuk tells. Not only that, they were also very wealthy. They had a lot of money. And if he could influence this kind of people, listen, the guy was no dummy. He was probably a very clever man. The Kli Yakar says that Korach took, however, who were the people? Korach took with him all those people who are always bitter. They're never happy. They are always complaining. The bitter people, right? And why they were bitter? Because the Bechorah, the rights for the firstborn was taken away from Reuven. So we should have been the most important. It's taken away from us. They were bitter about it. Bitter. Another thing, guys, besides the Lashon Hara people, besides the divisive people, by the way, they're all together. The Lashon Hara person, the divisive the person, they're all the same thing. They are very bitter people. People are never happy. So the Chachamim said to us that people that are bitter for them always find a way to come out of their bitterness. And usually people like this are not looking the way to be happy. So as they said, Sarat Rabim, Chatzi Nechama. Why should I suffer? If I suffer alone, it's hard. If everybody suffer, no, I guess everybody suffer. It's not that bad. I guess everybody suffers. So I'm going to make everybody miserable. So I'm not going to be the only one miserable, right? That's the way it works. Like this guy that did one time a big favor to the king. He helped them out and so on and so forth. And the king said to him, good, you helped me. However, your friend helped me also. So whatever you ask me, I'll give it to you. However, to your friend, I'll give half of what you got. So the guy said, take 2 eyes. Take 2 of my eyes. The guy was willing to give up 2 of his eyes so his friends would not even have 1 eye. They're bitter people. And there are a lot of people like this out there in the world. Nobody teaches you today how to be happy. Because we don't teach our kids appropriately. Yes, we learn Gemara, we learn Halacha, but we don't learn Hashkafa. Parents don't give the kids to be happy. They tell them, oh, make a lot of money, you'll be happy. That could be so far wrong, far from the truth. You have no idea, like east from west. And you know why parents don't teach their kids to be happy or how to be happy? Because they themselves are not happy. They're mesmerized on agony and catastrophes and pain and horrible things. The whole world is like that. When was the last time you heard that there's good news on the radio, on the TV or on the radio, whatever it is? Everything is bad.
It's always bad.
Always bad. Oh, here we go. You know how much good there is in the world? So people like this they're not even looking how to be happy. They're looking how to make other people bitter also, and that is the issue of jealousy. Why should he be good? Let me make his life miserable as well. Now, why should a person feel bitter? Why should a person feel bitter? And I'll tell you the following. Once upon a time, there was a king, and he had a daughter, and the daughter was very, very sick. By the way, this is also Leilu Nishmat Reina Bat Devorah. And the daughter was very, very sick, and all the doctors could not find anything to help her out. Until one doctor came, a special doctor, mumche, an expert, and he says that the only thing that could really save this girl, if she's going to wear a robe of a person who is happy and content with what he has. Okay? Only then she'll be happy, and because there was such a serious thing, and she had some kind of a mental issue, of course. However, it was a pikuach nefesh. You know, we had it was life-threatening. He said, sit down. It was life-threatening, and so nothing to do. The king started to ask the people if there's anybody amongst them who's really happy with what he has, and everybody, of course, had something to say. Nobody was really happy and content with what he has. Nobody says, Baruch Hashem, I'm happy. Nobody. So he went on and asked, and they could not find anybody who is sameach bechelko, happy with what he has. At the end, to make a long story short, the king sent a lot of people all over the place, and they heard that somewhere in some kind of a forest in Montana, maybe in Logan Pass in Montana, it's a very nice place by the way, instead of going to the Caribbean, Rabotai, go to Montana, go to Nevada, go to the Rocky Mountains, Utah. Look at what you have. You know why you go to the other places? For the same reason. You're not happy with what you have. You think somewhere else. The grass is always green on the other side. If you ever see the Rocky Mountains in all glory, you cannot stop yourself and saying, God is so great, it's unbelievable.
The blue.
Huh?
The blue.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to go to the Caribbean, so you're going to see overweight people in bikinis. Now, who wants to see that? Now, you tell me. You? Oh, okay. So they found a guy over there, some kind of a mountain man that lives in Logan Pass in Montana, that really hardly has anything. But rumor has it that the guy is happy. He's very happy, very content. So they came to this guy. And he says, immediately says, yes, of course, I'm willing to help. Of course, what can I help you with? No problem, just tell me. I'm there, I'm going to help you. What is this? So immediately they saw that the guy has a tremendous aura to his face, and the guy is happy. So they says, excuse me, do you have a robe that we can borrow for the daughter of the king? But immediately he told them, I don't have a robe. And he added, why do I need a robe? I don't need a robe. I'm very good with what I have. The clothing on my body that I have is the great. I don't need a robe. What do I need a robe for? I have everything that I have. And that was so therefore, now if you're going to look, the word chaluk, chet, lamed, vav, kuf, is the same thing as chelko, chet, lamed, kuf, vav. So they didn't want a robe. Go find a person who will give you an example who is that you should look at a person like this and learn a lesson how to be happy with what you have. The reason why people are not happy with what they have is because they don't look at what they have. They're always busy looking at what they don't have. Look at how much you have. My God, we were blessed. We have more than we deserve. We have more than we need. There's such an abundance. What do I need more? I'm happy. Thank God I don't need anything. Do you need a brand new car? Is your car driving? Yes. Why do you need a new car? Well, deserve it. You don't want to deserve it. Stay with your car. Stay with what you have. If you have a need to have new stuff all the time, guys, please go see a therapist. Or come to me, I'll help you. You don't need all these things that you think you need. You get yourself a $50 watch from Amazon. You don't need a $5,000 watch. What do you need a $5,000 or $50,000 watch? No, most likely it's not going to keep the same time. Get yourself a Timex. That's good. It keeps watch forever. What's wrong with you? Why is your life so empty that you need to fill it up with clutter of things that you don't need? Why is your life so empty? If you have such a desire to get more stuff, and I like this, I want it. I want this necklace. I want this bag. I want those shoes. How many shoes you need? What are you, Imelda Marcus? How many shoes do you need, for crying out loud? Okay, you need shoes for every day. Let's say you need shoes for Shabbat and a pair of sneakers to exercise. Fine, I'll give you. You need shoes for the winter. But why you have like 20 pairs of shoes? What do you got to do with all? How many feet do you have? What do you need it for? When they run out, when they wear out, then get a new one. Until then, don't buy it. How many shirts do you have in your closets? How many? This is all an indication of how empty your life is. You got to fill up with content. And that's why you're not happy. You're not happy. So, what Korach was missing is the ability to be happy with what he has. Listen, the guy was a millionaire. You know how much money the guy had? Like Warren Buffett on steroids. Guy was important. He was smart. He was wealthy. Well, what do you need? His people also. Nesiei Eda, Kirei Moed, Anshe Shem. They were important people, presidents. What was the problem? They were bitter people. There were people who were jealous. They were sad. Why he has it and I don't have it? And there's no difference if like, how come you gave him and not me? How come you smiled at him and not me? This is the same thing. It's a machala. It's a mental disease. People like this are mental. That's a big problem. It's another problem is that we don't know how to address or to deal with mental illness. But you know, guys, you can't sweep everything under the carpet. That's why I don't like carpets. I have wooden floors in my house. You can't sweep anything. Seriously. So the Mekubalim explained to us that a person who is happy like that, everything would make him happy. Everything would elevate him. So a person who is bitter can never elevate himself spiritually. Can never elevate himself spiritually. If you find a certain bitterness, why him, not me? Why he this? Why he took from me? Why he did? You are not going to elevate yourself spiritually. You want to elevate yourself spiritually, start being happy with what you have. Because when you're happy, everything is, you know, somebody says hello to you. Oh man, this hello is a yofi. It's a yofi. I love it when people say, oh, it's a beautiful day today, isn't it? And I said to them, every day above the ground is beautiful. Even if it's raining and it's humid and it's snowing or it's sleeting or it's hot, every day above the ground is happy. It's a good day. I'm going to tell you, if Chaz v'Shalom, a person has one day to live, tell him, is that a bad day? He said, oh, you know, it's my last day, you know. let me soak it in as much as I can. Guys, you gotta understand that there is an end to everything. Start appreciating what you have. Be happy with what you have. Be happy. Don't feel entitled. Be happy. And what was wrong with Korach? He was bitter. So a person who is bitter, everything goes on his nerves. Right? If you're a bitter person, I don't know, you sneeze, he gets angry. He smiles, he gets angry. He scratches his, he gets angry. Everything explosive. There's no like, everything is like dynamite. Blah, like this. Person like this, you know, it's dangerous. But what was that, right? He, instead of being happy that one of his cousins is a king and the other cousin is a Kohen Gadol, right? He was bitter about it. That's not the way of a Jew. A Jew should be happy. Oh, Baruch Hashem, you know, my cousin is a yofi. My cousin is a king. My other cousin, she's a yofi. You know, Kohen Gadol is a yofi. Good for them. Good for them. Learn how to say good for you. Don't try to make somebody else as miserable as you are. That's wrong. And listen, at the end, if you're bitter, you're not going to keep mitzvot either. Because your bitterness at the end, after you finish with everybody, your bitterness is going to be directed towards Shammai, towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why is God not helping me? I gave Meiser. How come I did not become rich? I did this. How come I didn't do that? Well, that's exactly how it is. If you give Maaser and you don't see your bank account growing and multiplying, don't feel strange about it. Just think about the fact. Oh my goodness, I still have money to give Maaser. When nobody else, other people don't have money. And you still have money to give Maaser. So what's your problem? Think about it this way. But that you don't think. You want to know for yourself. Now, if a person, you're not only happy with what you have, but you're also happy for people that you know, something good happens to them, right? And you're rejoicing with him. So therefore, a person like this, everything for him is a source for joy. His life, at the end, his life becomes good life. Korach was smart. But as we say in previous parasha, Chachamim hema le'ara u'le'etiv lo yadau. There are certain wise men, right, that they make bad for others, however for themselves they don't do anything good with all, they don't benefit themselves with all the wisdom. So what's your wisdom good for? Only to do bad? Well, how about yourself? Say, I'm so smart. Hold on a second, let me see. It's not so bad. Baruch Hashem, I'm healthy, I can walk, I can eat, my body functioning is okay. That is good. Even if something chas v'shalom goes bad, it's always a good. My grandfather, alav shalom, my mother's father, always was walking in the streets, and he had difficult life. Always was happy. The guy was walking in the streets and singing shira shirim to himself. This guy was always happy. My grandfather was brilliant. Spoke 8 languages. He could do math. It would take me more time to write it. He would already do it by head. Always happy. I never heard my grandfather complaining. And that's why at the end, his last words on earth, really reflected on who he was. His name was Avraham. Both my grandparents were named Avraham. But that grandfather, his last words on earth was like this. He wanted to have a mentor, so he made a bracha. After he finished that, he said to my aunt, he says, "V'Avraham zaken ba bayamim," and Avraham is old and he's coming about age. "Ve'Hashem berach et Avraham bakol," and God blessed Avraham with everything. That was his last words on earth. That is a person with emunah. That is a person who's samech b'chilko. And believe me, he had difficult life. You have no idea what difficulties in his life. And he said, I am blessed. God blessed me with everything. We should understand that. And we should learn from that. So it says, the whole wisdom of Korach did not help him. On the contrary, the whole wisdom of Korach made him lose his world, made him die. And that is the nature of bitterness. The world is established on 3 lines. Kav Yamin, right, which is the din, small, ve'emtza, chesed, gvura, ve'rachamim. These are the 3 lines. The small is the will to will to receive. And that's called Meshichat Orot milemala lemata. We pull in the lights from above down. The Emtza, right, which that's something like this would really cause you a congestion in leading and spreading out the goodness in the world. Korach milshon kerach. Kerach, ice. Ice constricts, freezes things. The Zohar says that the small left has to be included with the right. In other words, in chesed, in giving. And because of that maneuver of chesed incorporated with yamin, that's how we get the middle line, which is rachamim, mercy, shalom, harmony, and emet, truth. Without that, you can't. And you need to incorporate this in your life. Whoever increases the dominance of left over right increases the will to receive to himself. And by the way, you should also see that this is how it is in this world today. Right? Usually, the more liberal you are, right, the more you want for yourself, and you teach the people to get for themselves. The education for entitlement. But we cannot be all completely, Ayn Rand, rationalist. We should be somewhere in the middle. Receive to give, responsibility, communal responsibility, and so on and so forth. Right? A person that is completely left is all about pleasures. Right? He wants to pleasure. And who he wants to pleasure? Mainly himself. Right? There's no morals, no virtues, all about me. Give me the pleasures. Look what happens in the world outside today. It's exactly it. without any influence to the people, without trying to help people and to make this world a better place. And the end, a person like this is going to simply be forgotten that he ever existed. In other words, by nature, by the spiritual nature of creation, the lights would simply evaporate and disappear from this kind of from his vessels, from this kind of a person. And what was the weakness of Korach? Right? How can a person like this can go to such a low? Because of jealousy. So Baal HaAkedah says, teaches us a very important when we're calling upon people, right? We could see, for example, like reading people. When we see a person who is very successful, he's very sharp, he contributes to the community, he's a perfect person. However, if the internal motive is negative, in other words, all for himself, he wants to satisfy some kind of a dark aspect within himself, all the other things simply serve that purpose, serve that goal. And at the end of the day, there's going to be a very bad thing. Even all the good things that they do would end up to be bad. AKA, your average politician. I'll do this for you, I'll do that for you. He doesn't care about it, but he does. It's all for himself. That's why everything turns out to be bad. That's the way it is. The true test of a person is exactly at moments like this, when something does not go according to your plan, right? If he doesn't have the ability, right, to really restrain himself, right? He always wants to respond, he wants to restrain himself. So what will happen to a person like this? He's going to fight. And that, by the way, happens many times in the workplace. He's going to fight. And a person like this, when things don't go his way, and you see in the politicians, right, very often, he'll find the dirtiest battle out there. When things don't go according to your plans, you're going to go dirty. The machloket of Korach in Moshe is a symbol of a machloket shelo leshem shamayim, but rather for selfish motives. That's what Baal HaAkedah talks about. The machloket of Shammai, Bet Shammai or Bet Hillel, Shammai ve Hillel, were l'shem shamayim. They wanted to really find the truth. And they saw that they need each other to discuss that, and through this disagreement, the truth will come out. That's machloket l'shem shamayim. That's why today we learn about the machloket of Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel over and over all the time in all these places. The Midrash explained to us that, again, we need to combine the right love and giving, which is the frequency in which we could connect to the abundance, to connect to the shefa that comes, to the mazal and the bracha anywhere in the universe, over the left, which is really our self-concern. And this is basically a seesaw that we take up all the time, that we are riding this thing all the time up and down. We need to find the balance. The balance is to be Aharon, to be Korach, right? In all of us there is a mixture of light and shadow, of good and bad, of giving and selfishness. There's a Kohen and a Levi in each and every one of us. And we need to understand that in order to succeed in life, we need to give up on the effort to show and to always be right. I'm going to show you who is right. I'm going to show you that I'm right. You can't do that. You don't try to show me that who is right. You try to show me that you are right and I'm wrong. Let's negotiate. That's the same thing that happens in Israel now in the battles between the Haredim and the secular about going to the army, not going to the army. They don't want to solve the problem. They want to show flex of muscle on each other. And so is with everything else. They would use immigration as a wedge to show them that I have more power than you, and I'm going to do this, and you're fighting lower and lower and lower and lower. Our humanity, this, in us, is really comes to an expression with our ability to put Aharon in control of Korach, and by doing so connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And when it comes to the reward, it already says, Kol haborech me'akavod, hakavod rodef acharai. A person who runs away from honor, the honor chases after him. Of course, don't be like one of these people that says, I don't want any kavod. I don't want any kavod. I'm such a humble person. And then he looks, no, he's coming after me. Don't be like that, right? Really truthful and says, Ma'ama kavod b'shvili. Rav Chaim Palachi used to say every time when somebody gives him a kavod, Rav Agadol, Agadez, Rabbeinu, Adez. He used to say, Lecha Hashem Agdula, Gvura, V'Tiferet. The honor is not for you, for me, Hashem. It's for you. Everything is for you. Don't, when somebody tells you, Eizet Tzaddik, you feel good. Don't. Tivrach mizeh. Because you know, only you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu know where you're holding. And I'm not saying necessarily bad, but you know, Baruch Hashem, there's plenty of work to do. And when we understand what it is really to give, and unity as a superior value, what we call ahavat chinam, love for the sake of love, then the sky is the limit, Rabotai. The sky is the limit. Because it says, "Hamevakesh al chavero na'anat chila." You're asking something good for your friend, you're going to be giving it first. Because you're not selfish. Give me. Ribono shel olam, please help everybody. I don't want anybody to be poor anymore. I want everybody to be healthy. You're going to be rich. You're going to be healthy. But if you want for yourself, okay, there's a line now. There's a line. Now let's see. Okay, you're back in the line. Who said that you want to jump to the line? What is the BQE, or that you're going to just skip the line and cut it off or something like that? No, absolutely not. So of course the question really is not really who is right or what is right. We should not always look what is right. Why? Because what the Zohar says, Mi sheba b'machloket en lo kiyum. If you're coming to stir an argument, if you're coming in to create division, and it doesn't make a difference if it's with a person in a congregation, a talmid in a yeshiva, a friend from a friend, does not make a difference. If you're coming and you are enhancing division, en lo kiyum, there's no existence to you. Watch out. Especially in times like we are at right now. Watch out. You're going to be the first one to go. Because we don't need you here. We don't need you to sabotage our effort to make something good here. You're a threat. You'll be the first one to go. And the parasha, of course, ends up with the issues of ma'asot, of giving maaser, giving truma or asirit, 10% of whatever it is that we have. On its surface, of course, why should I give anything to anybody, right? I worked hard for it, and so on and so forth. But if I want to fulfill our purpose and to really connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to connect to the Shefa for the abundance, we need to overpower the right over left. We need to worry of other people before we worry about ourselves. Shabbat Shalom.